of people are jumping the waves. I don't know if you ever did that as a kid. I was always so scared of it. You go out as fast as you can, and then when the wave comes, you dive under, and then you poke back up and you wait for the next one. And the waves have gotten bigger. We're actually heading into high tide, or actually it's around 2:10. I think we're around there now. So high tide at 2:10, and then we'll head into low tide. That'll peak at around 8 o'clock this evening. Bob, it is nice out here. Bob mentioned the sea breeze. You can see the sea breeze by proof of my hair. But it feels so good. The water is around 82, 83 degrees. It is so warm, but somehow still so refreshing. I think it's because once you get wet and you take a dip, then you jump on out and the wind hits you and it feels so good. So we've been walking the beach. Just if you want, take them home. They do ask if you leave the shells because it helps with beach erosion. But there's some really pretty ones out here. I found one earlier with a hole. I was like, I can make a necklace out of that. So what do you do when you come to the beach? I like to, well, I have to play with my kids. I'm usually coming with 3 little kids, which means I'm working. But if not, just set up your little beach oasis. Look at all of the tents, all of the canopies that have popped up since we arrived here early this morning. You are hard pressed to find a spot. That guy, Jeremy, see that guy sitting in the water in his chair? I think that's probably the best position you can have because you get a little bit of both. But this is as high as the water is going to go, so we'll start to see more beach spaces we have further in towards low tide, and everybody just enjoying it. As you mentioned, we're right around 90 degrees. Dew point temperature around 75. So yeah, it's sticky, but what do you expect, right? We're hanging out at the Isle of Palms, and you have this breeze to help break up that feels like temperature right around 98, 100 degrees. For perspective, everybody, so I'm here on this front beach behind me, and then behind me also is the Windjammer. That's where Bob is set up with the rest of the crew, the white building. That little tent you see, that was actually the stage last night. They had Yacht Rock. And they had a big old performance. They had live band. It was great. Everybody was hanging out with their little sailor hats and everything. So it's just constant fun. And in the lead up to the 4th of July, this is the perfect week to be out here. Bob, I'll bring you back in. We had some rain yesterday morning, right? It came, it went, it left. Yeah. The day was fine. Today's been nothing but blue skies. Maybe some storms tonight and some rain. But other than that, I think we're clear for the 4th.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. We watched some stuff bubble out there across the ocean at this point, but you're right. Action so far has been north because I think that cold front is taking all the humidity, but good stuff out there, Marissa. And by the way, there is you didn't see it, I don't think, but there's a hose. You can wash your feet off from the sand when you come back up here. I would suggest doing that because when you put your shoes on and it's all sandy, not so great.
So gross.
All right, Marissa, we'll get back to you in just a little bit. Come on back up here. We got some stuff to talk about for sure. Hey, listen, Marissa and I, we drove around this town. We're in the Isle of Palms, South Carolina. And if you've never been here before, it is a quintessential beach town. It's beautiful. You've got everything you know. I mean, you've got everything you need to know how to have a good time. You've got the ocean, got the nice beach, you got some shops. But what makes a great beach town? We'll show you that coming up. Plus, Robert Ray, I don't know what he's getting into down across Key West. He's at the Key Line Festival at this point. He's been having a good time for sure. He's been mixing up some drinks. We'll see what's happening down there as well when we come back, you guys. Be right back. Just wrap your legs.
I was a young dad of 3 amazing kids, and
circulation.
Yeah.
It's a big mess, a tropical envelope of moisture, which means rounds and rounds of rain that are in no hurry to move out.
So not just for 4th of July, but really through much of the weekend, especially if this hangs out, there's going to be kind of a boundary. It'll be south of that where you have some of the more heavier downpours. So Orlando southward, if something were to form, the next name on the list would be Chantal. But hopefully it's nothing more than just a heavy rainmaker.
Yeah, you can see Hurricane Flossie on there as well. Hurricane Flossie creating huge waves there for portions of western Mexico and for the Cabo region. So if you are cruising, if you're vacationing, it is not a good beach time with Flossie hanging out here in the eastern Pacific.
And some of that moisture actually making it all the way up into the southwest this morning and into the afternoon. That's actually leading to travel delays. We do have a ground stop at Las Vegas because of thunderstorms. So there they are. Look at all the cloud cover there across the Great Basin. You can even see out across the Death Valley. We got thunderstorms. Of course, with the rain and clouds, temperatures are a lot cooler than what you've seen, only in the mid-80s.
Subway's protein-packed footlongs are the perfect way to fill up for your day, like the All-American Club or the Ultimate BMT. Okay, zoom in. Whoa.
For free today. Be prepared with the Weather Channel TV app.
When the grid goes down, what's your plan? I'm Kate Corley, former Navy SEAL. I've defended freedom around the world. And here's the truth. Freedom starts at home. That's why I trust the Patriot Power Generator 2500X. Solar powered and built tough to keep your fridge, phones, and medical devices running with no gas and no fumes. This 4th of July,
Free TV starts with Local Now. With hundreds of free TV channels,
We've got some breaking news to get. Down to the 4th of July is on. Pools, barbecues, and fireworks celebrations are fun, but they can also pose serious risks not only for people, but also our furry friends.
That's exactly right. Joining us to talk about keeping your pets safe during the holiday, veterinarian and all, Lisette the vet, Dr. Ruth McPeak, and of course, Jet with us as well. Our favorite, of course. Good morning. Thank you so much for being with us again and talking about this topic. Fireworks, we know, can seriously scare our pets at home. They escape. You know, you think you put them away somewhere safe, and you're like, where'd they go? What are the first steps to trying to calm them down ahead of time?
Well, the first thing I recommend is that people plan on keeping their pets home and inside. As you guys mentioned, a lot of pets are frightened by the bright lights, the noises. 50% of dogs actually have a noise phobia. So keeping them inside in a back room away from the windows and the doors is really key.
I was dog sitting once a dog, and this poor dog was literally shaking. I was trying to hold her and be like, it's okay, it's okay.
You know how sometimes they have those blankets?
I know, but nothing would help this dog. It went in the back of the closet and just sat there shivering. I felt so bad. So it is really, really tough for a lot of them. I gotta say, though, I do love Jet's outfit. I love the hat and the outfit and everything. Let's talk about the food. Yeah, lots of food around the cookouts. And, of course, a lot of people, maybe if they're not even feeding them scraps, the animals will try to just grab the food.
Yes, it's really important that people are mindful because there are a lot of barbecues, there's a lot of food around. You want to make sure your pets aren't getting into chocolate, alcohol, grapes, that things are not falling on the ground, and of course watching out for those hot grills. One thing I do want to mention that people can do to keep their pets busy and distracted during barbecues and during the firework display itself is, again, you're keeping them in a back room, but also turn on the radio, turn on the TV to distract the sounds, give them a new toy. Nylabone has all types of chew toys. These are long lasting. And something that's really cool that I wanted to mention to you guys is that this year, in honor of their 70th birthday, Nylabone is actually donating a toy to Best Friends Animal Society for every toy that's purchased. So not only do you keep your pet busy and distracted, but you're going to help a rescue pet as well.
Love it.
Yeah, that's
great. All right, so now we still have a little bit of time before the fireworks go off. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe in some places they've already started. But if your pet does get out and run away, let's talk a little bit about what to do. But also, I'm trying to think of what to do now. I mean, could we be putting maybe a little GPS tracker on them now, just in case they do get out?
Collars and with ID tags and microchips are a must. And you want this for every animal. So even cats, because again, they can get out in the festivities with the doors open and they're scared. So you want to talk to your veterinarian right now. If your pet doesn't have a microchip, go to a pet store, make sure you have a tag and ID tag that's current and up to date on all of your pets. Also talk to your pet about medication. We have all types of medication. If you have an animal that is very anxious or you know that they're a nervous dog, talk to your veterinarian because we have a lot of different medications that can help keep pets calm.
Dr. Ruth, we have 30 seconds, really hot out. Quick tips for the heat for pets?
Just be mindful that they're sensitive to the heat. You want to keep them inside where it's cool and always make sure they have water and shade. Bring water with you everywhere so that they're staying nice and hydrated.
All right, Dr. Ruth McPeak and Jet, thank you so much for coming on and sharing all your wisdom with us. Happy 4th, guys.
Happy 4th.
All right, let's get a look outside. Seattle, Washington. Oh, doesn't it look beautiful? Especially when you can actually see the mountains, mix of sun and clouds. It's not hot at all. In fact, this is our peak summer season, right? This is when everyone comes in from other areas of the country or from around the world and enjoy all that we have to offer here in the Pacific Northwest. Let's get a look at the 4th of July forecast. For Seattle, no rain in store, so that's good. Temperatures are going to be pleasant, low 70s, dropping down to the 60s here. Remember, the sun stays up late this time of the year, so fireworks likely won't begin until around 10 p.m. once that sun sets. And we're talking low 60s, no rain, and just a few clouds. Similar kind of forecast for a place like Portland. Temperatures couldn't be better. 70s down to the 60s here by the time the sun sets. Firework forecast looks great for any of the big area festivities that you may be attending. All right, traveling. Getting to the Pacific Northwest, say from the Northern Rockies, that's where you could run into thunderstorms. So you're spending time, say, around Whitefish, Montana, or down towards Bozeman, maybe around Yellowstone National Park, Jackson Hole, hit and miss thunderstorms. Those will be more so in the afternoon, early evening. We are going to see some spotty showers and some stronger storms. They'll be isolated in nature, though, mainly across the plains. But some of the big travel hubs like Minneapolis, St. Paul, also down towards Chicago, O'Hare, Kansas City, and Memphis, all looking pretty good. Now, we'll be hot, even though we should stay dry in a place like Chicago.
With over 50 bold flavors of McCormick Grill Mix, expect innovation. McCormick Grill Mix, flavor is calling.
Every time it rains, it
And this, beautiful from a distance. You don't want to be caught out. I'm trying to imagine like if you were on an afternoon run. Now, I would be one of the people that would love this because it would be like an added boost to run fast, right? And it would just add a little adrenaline to my run. But I gotta get home before the storm gets to me, you know?
Oh, yeah. I've definitely a time or two had to outrun some Florida downpours.
I think that's what classifies a Floridian. At some point, you're going to get poured on.
Right.
Whether you're coming out of the grocery store, we've all had those memories and those experiences. They don't always hit right at the same time every day. It could be 30 minutes later, you know.
The problem is, if it's rain, it's fine. Got any lightning or anything like that, and you got to find a safe spot, which a lot of these storms end up having some lightning. I mean, man, look at these skies in Orlando right now. It is looking ominous.
Ooh, I do love this shot, though. And is this like the fastest I've ever seen I-4? Well, I don't know. There's no traffic. What's going on? I'm sure it'll be slowing down here shortly with the rain coming in and also rush hour not that far away.
No doubt. It is Weather Channel Live. Chris Bruin and Felicia Combs here to map it all out for you. The roadway travel, as Chris just pointed out, might be your better bet because we are seeing airport delays pop up across the Sunshine State. Not a great day to be traveling, or not a great time to be traveling right now, as anywhere you see anything other than green on the map is indicative of delays that you're starting to see. We've got that ground stop there at Orlando International. We've got over an hour delay there at MIA thanks to the weather. Starting to see some delays there at Palm Beach International as well as Fort Myers Airport. So not a great weather day to be flying in or out of Florida. Ground stop here in Orlando until 3:30 for those storms moving through. We've got gusty winds, we've got thunderstorms. So I'm going to be waiting just a bit for those storms to move out so you can move on with things, right? In Miami right now, as mentioned, around an hour for departures, no delays on arrivals. We've got an abundance of activity going on right now. So you can see our front that's moving southeastern, putting a little bit of a squeeze play on our moisture across the southeast. Got some upper level energy that's hanging out in the Gulf, kind of blowing up over there. All those different elements coming together and focusing a good dousing of what we call PWATs, or precipitable moisture in the atmosphere. And where the darker oranges and the reds, that is indicative of a ton of atmospheric moisture to work with. What does that mean for you? Well, it means some really heavy rain and that possibility for flash flooding when you have all the extra trigger mechanisms that we have around right now. Look at this. Look at those. Just a ton of lightning there for coastal North Carolina. Same thing across Florida. Highly electric storms. And we are going to be dealing with this as we head through the coming hours. Very heavy rain across portions of coastal North Carolina as well. So we have that possibility for flash flooding, Chris, that we're going to be dealing with as we head through the day today, and rounds of rain ahead. We've got a bunch of different elements that are coming together to bring us those storm chances.
Speaking of rain, we actually have monsoonal moisture now in place across the west. It's kind of catching people by surprise in Las Vegas because we had rain already on the strip earlier today. Temperature that's only 85 degrees. You might need a jacket, right? There is showers there in the vicinity too, and we're talking about a pretty cloudy sky. So we're not going to get into 90 today here in Las Vegas. Storms continue. Today will be our wettest day, and then we'll hold on to the chance of hit and miss storms, especially in the higher elevations. It seems to be the typical trend when you're just entering into the monsoon season. Notice our temperatures though. Ely, Nevada, 68 degrees currently. Meanwhile, still pretty hot here in Salt Lake City and Phoenix, but temperature coming down, only 85 there in Las Vegas. We're surrounded by showers. We have a lot of rain here across the hill country of Texas. And then look at this, thunderstorms from Death Valley pushing up into southern Nevada. Storms approaching Las Vegas. Some of these could be on the strong side too, so we can't rule out an isolated severe storm or two. Heads up here in the big national parks like Zion and also Bryce Canyon. Scattered thunderstorms are going to be possible even around the Grand Canyon this afternoon and into tonight. That's where we could see some strong to severe storms, even up towards the Salt Flats there, just west of Salt Lake City. And of course, flash flooding can happen so easily here in the desert. All right, I want to show you what the latest guidance is suggesting. Notice all the rain in Nevada, spotty showers there through southern Utah. A lot more activity here as we go through tonight. And look at this batch of rain and thunderstorms up towards Flagstaff and even around Sedona, Arizona, mainly north of Phoenix. But we could see a hit or miss storm too towards some of the northern suburbs, say around Scottsdale, also around Tucson. And tomorrow, we may have a better shot for storms there in the Tucson area. Also back up towards Salt Lake City and the Great Basin. And some of the rain, while not a ton of it, we could see up to an inch in some pocket scattered thunderstorms. All right, let's get back up to our airport delays and really only issues in Las Vegas right now because of nearby thunderstorms. We still have an ongoing ground stop until 11:45 a.m. Pacific time.
The beach is packed. You got pretty good weather right now, just a little bit of cloud cover hanging around, a little bit breezy, I will say. And sometimes, depending on where or in what direction that wind is coming from, if you've got an east wind or an onshore wind, can really up those chances for rip currents. So I want to make sure everyone is staying safe at the beach this time of year. Make sure you are swimming near the lifeguard if you have that option. We've got multiple areas of moderate and high rip current risks, whether it's for the Gulf Coast beaches, portions of the west coast of Florida, up and down the east coast of Florida, portions of the Outer Banks with high to moderate rip current risk as well. And these are subjective. So if you are a weak swimmer, or if you're not used to swimming in the wild, maybe, you know, where you're getting the waves and things like that, it could be saying a moderate risk, but it could actually be a high risk for you, because if you are not a strong swimmer, that could really put you in danger. So please be safe there. We've already had too many rip current related fatalities this year. Take a look at the sea surface temperatures here, especially in the Gulf. I mean, sheesh, it's like bathwater here near Tampa, there near Apalachicola. Temperatures of the water in the is very warm for this time of year in the Gulf, but even then the lower 80s off of say near Daytona Beach, or the mid 80s off of the coast of around Myrtle Beach, you guys are still going to be feeling pretty warm, pretty much like bathwater if you are trying to do some swimming. And Pensacola today, upper 80s. Bit of a light breeze there. You are going to have some cloud cover hanging around, as we do have that disturbance, that piece of energy that's hanging out in the Gulf. Panama City Beach as well, a little bit breezy. As mentioned, some of our Gulf Coast beaches, you could be dealing with some rip current issues. Clearwater, not a bad day at all. You do have that southwesterly breeze though, which that onshore flow, as I mentioned, increases your risk of rip currents. In Miami, we've got the chance for storms, and we're already seeing them. So do be careful. It doesn't mean it's going to be raining and storming constantly at the beach, but you got to keep an eye to the sky. Vero Beach, same thing. We've got that onshore flow that is going to be dealing with bringing in some of that moisture, and you're going to be dealing with the ramifications of that in the form of the storms. Daytona Beach, as mentioned, high or moderate risk of rip currents here, high if you are a weak swimmer, so please be safe out there as temperatures are in the upper 80s and you've got storms in the forecast. To Hilton Head now, where you've got cloudy skies and temperatures in the upper 80s. Your burn time there about 10 minutes, so don't forget to put on the sunblock before you get out of your car, before you're walking to your beach spot, because it can take 10 minutes to get out of the car, get to your spot, and get everything set up, as we all know. To the Outer Banks now, Hatteras, where you got that chance for a few storms as well. Really, really stormy right now for coastal North Carolina, and that's going to remain the fact really through a good chunk of this afternoon. Virginia Beach, you've got some storms around as well. And you can see here yet again today a high risk of rip currents for all of your beaches there on the southern side of Long Island.
All right, hard to believe, but it was about a year ago when Hurricane Beryl made landfall in the U.S. And we remember tracking Beryl for over a week as it became one of the strongest hurricanes so early in the season in the Atlantic Basin, and managed to make it all the way through the Gulf and into Texas on the last day of June. Galveston, Texas hit very hard with gusts up over hurricane strength. And Houston also had significant power outages that took almost a week or more to get fully repaired. And it really put a test, because it wasn't that long prior to Beryl that we had that derecho that came through. So you had winds coming, from very strong one direction, and then Beryl kind of pushing it all in the other direction.
Just a mess, especially as you're getting into this time of year. That's where you typically start to see maybe the number of the storms jumping up just a little bit, but not necessarily always hurricanes.
Yeah, so July, we're edging closer into hurricane season. June is hit and miss. You don't always have storms in June. Sometimes you can go the entire month of July and not have much activity at all.
Right.
But other times you can have not only tropical storms, but hurricanes. So this is just over the last 10 years. These are hurricanes for the month of July at any point from the beginning of the month to the end of the month. And notice we have a lot of activity popping up in the main development region. And those are the storms that tend to travel quite some distance through the Caribbean and sometimes even make it into the U.S.
All right, so we are still looking at the names of that. You can see it here. Beryl, as we were just talking about. But, by and large, when you look at this, it is very spaced out when you talk about the hurricanes over the past 10 years. Beryl, of course, in recent memory. So that's what we're looking at with that.
I saw Hannah, which was I know it was in July, and I was like, how did we get? It was in 2020 and hit Texas, and I was like, how did we get to the H storm in July?
Yeah,
that was one of our most active years.
That was a very active year.
Yeah. So there's a recap of Beryl again at Category 5, so early in the season. Thankfully, this year there's almost not even thunderstorms out over the Atlantic Basin, so that means no tropical development, with the exception of that area off the coast of Florida over the next 7 days. All right, let's take a look at your 4th of July forecast presented by Walgreens. And who doesn't love a good fireworks show? Of course, a lot of people keep an eye to the sky when it comes to your 4th of July plans. And here in Atlanta, I know it's been wet, but we're actually going to be fairly high through the end of the week.
Yeah, it's going to be dry and hot, but of course you'll still get those pop-up cumulus clouds each afternoon. DC looks great as well. Could not ask for better weather there for 4th of July, nation's capital.
St. Louis, another fun spot for the 4th.
4th of July, brought to you by Walgreens.
You know what's coming. Of all the crazy weather video out there today, we've got the best ones for you.
Yeah, the Weather Gone Viral top 5 videos of the day. Here we go with number 5. So take a look at this. A drone video here actually showing a really nicely defined rain band moving through Metro Atlanta. This was from Tuesday. You can actually see the stark contrast from where it's not raining to where it is just a complete downpour.
This is all too familiar this time of year. You get those popcorn storms and it's raining on us. You know, number 4, these are travel conditions that you do not want to be. This is new footage from this past weekend showing floodwater cutting across a road in rural West Virginia. Just remember, it only takes about 6 inches of water to lose control of your car.
I was curious to see what that car was going to do.
Hopefully they turned around.
I know, hopefully. It's moving fast. All right, number 3, the heat wave going across Central Europe has unfortunately led to scenes like this. Footage from eastern Spain shows wildfire smoke shooting up into the air as the Catalan wildfire continues to burn.
All right, let's head to Hawaii. This is a cool nighttime light show, right? New footage has been released from this past weekend's volcano eruption at Kilauea in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. You can see the lava splurting up there. Highly recommend if you ever get the chance to visit.
Yeah, I feel like you have to go at night. See the forest. All right, number 1. Take a look at this ominous cloud that had a lot of people doing a double take. Even during the Braves game, you could see it from Truist Field. It almost had people thinking, is that a tornado? It wasn't, thankfully, but it did have a look, the ominous look.
A scud cloud. Yeah, that fun little scud cloud. Don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Weather Gone Viral anytime on the Weather Channel streaming app.
Well, here's another popular 4th of July family destination, Las Vegas. And what is that I see? Is that clouds? What? Is that rain?
This isn't normally the shot we're looking for here.
No, those brilliant blue skies. We're trading it in for some monsoonal moisture today. But don't worry, things are going to dry out for the 4th of July. The Strip, of course, will have its fireworks displays. You can get in on the action early as you see these minor league Las Vegas Aviators plan to shoot out fireworks after the matchup against Oklahoma City Comets both tonight and tomorrow.
It's like days of fireworks. My cutoff limit, I'm like, okay, you can shoot off the fireworks for this time, since it's a Friday, the Saturday, the Sunday, the Monday. But if we get into Wednesday next week and you're still shooting off fireworks, I'm turning you in. I just want you to know there's a cutoff limit on these fireworks.
So use them up.
Yes,
all at once, right? And get them done. All right, so there's a look at our travel forecast. Much better today. We're not going to have as many ground stops or delays. Of course, we'll have a few, especially maybe in Florida, a few spotty storms that could lead to issues here, say west of Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston. California, some marine clouds, low fog, causing issues around the Bay Area. And some hit-and-miss storms here across the Rockies. Can't rule out one of those impacting some of these airports.
This is going to be another one of those days where you're going to have some very heavy rain across portions of the south here for the coastal southeast as well. Portions of the northeast for Thursday as well. So that could slow down on the roadways. My advice would be if you're traveling and you're trying to avoid rain and storms, travel early in the day.
Yeah, for sure. Now, sometimes people wait till the day up. So for 4th of July proper, for Friday, not a lot of people are going to be working. So you've got less commuters on the road, and maybe you have more opportunity to get to your place without as much traffic.
Issue here, seeing the storms across Florida, popular destination. Orlando is a huge nation for this time of year, and it's going to be messy. You could have delayed flights in and out of there in Orlando.
And if you're going to have any issues with fireworks going off, it's going to be in Florida. There's some amazing celebrations going on. Every little community up and down the beaches seems like they have their own fireworks show, and some of them may not get to happen because of storms and thunderstorms in the vicinity.
Meanwhile, places across the Northeast, Boston, DC, New York City, those very popular tourist destinations for 4th of July as well. That should be perfect there for you guys.
Good.
Yeah, let's
Speaking of which, you mentioned Boston. We've got a beautiful forecast, hard to beat. I mean, temperatures in the upper 70s. We're going to have sunny skies, no rain to contend with, and just a light wind here too. So the fireworks shows and all of your events that you may have on in your neighborhood or your community, looking great here for the entire day of 4th of July.
Let's head to Omaha, where you do have that chance for a few showers here as we're heading through the evening. It's not going to be a washout. You should still be able to get those fireworks in just fine. What's your 4th of July food of choice? What do you feel like you have to have on 4th of July?
I love a good bit of fruit. So like whether it be
Fruit.
well, you got watermelon. I feel like
Oh,
you
yeah,
have
you're
watermelon,
right,
but
you're
I also love peaches and blueberries. I love strawberries and blueberries. You know,
Okay.
red, white, and blue.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you
But
that one.
burgers, you gotta have burgers. Maybe
The
some
hot dog.
potato salad.
I thought for sure you're gonna go straight to a hot dog.
No, I'm not a big hot dog
Oh,
guy.
okay.
But I mean, if it was, I could eat one, but it's not my staple.
It's not your
It's not
4th of
my
July
staple.
staple. Okay, well, Salt Lake City, this is the perfect weather, really,
It
4th
is.
of
It's
July.
really nice. We'll have some monsoon storms beforehand, but we dry out. Closer to 2050 than we are 2000, the year 2000.
Well, yeah, I guess we're over
halfway now through the year.
Well, way to make me ponder the future, Chris. Thank you.
No, you just don't think about it. But 2050 also doesn't seem like that far away. My mortgage is like, it'll be done. It's like,
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe that's exciting for you.
We'll see. A lot to break down here with travel, 4th of July. We're going to talk about it a little quieter as far as storms go today. So that's good. We're still going to have some, but we'll let you know where those are. And of course, are keeping our eye on the tropics.
We do have some areas that could see some severe weather. You see it highlighted there across the northern tier. Maybe even some of those monsoonal storms getting a little bit feisty as you look off toward the west. We're going to be tracking that for you. We are keeping a close eye on some of the delays that we're experiencing right now. And currently, I know this is kind of like the bad news because lots of people trying to travel to Florida this time of year, and we have terrible flight delays across the state right now.
Yeah, I mean, we've got delays at Fort Myers, Sarasota, Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and then a ground stop at Orlando because of thunderstorms. So just pack your patience. It's going to be one of those days. Getting to Florida or flying away from Florida to somewhere else in the country, it might take a little longer than you may have scheduled. But look at this incredible view over Atlanta. I love these skies too. You have a hint of blue. This is what I refer to as summer. This is why I love summer. You get such dynamic activity in the skies this time of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that shots like this show you all of the different elements of the atmosphere, just how fluid the atmosphere is, and why sometimes it's like, you said it was going to rain, and it didn't, and it's like it rained, 2 houses down.
Yeah.
You were under that rain check, but you maybe were not getting that. So
yeah, so many different layers in the atmosphere. Storms moving in one direction. You have individual storms, and then they'll merge together and create a whole new storm. Storms will shift. There's just a lot going on here. And we're going to see more of this, especially in eastern North Carolina today. This is on the tail end of that front that we were tracking yesterday. So seeing a lot of thunderstorm activity right now, moving into the Outer Banks and across eastern North Carolina. This is well east of Raleigh, although we still have a few pop-up showers and storms there up towards Pilot Mountain, just north of Greensboro, and then also across southern parts of South Carolina. Some of the heaviest rain is east of I-95. It's already come through Virginia Beach, but we still have some steady rainfall right now in the Tidewater area of Virginia. A lot of lightning strikes with those storms, so not the best of beach days there in the Carolina coast. Farther south, these are your thunderstorms that we've seen this afternoon in Florida. Starting to see a lot of activity around Orlando, down U.S. Highway 27 into south central Florida. Storms also here off the coast of Sanibel. In fact, there was even a water spout reported there just offshore Sanibel Island. A few pop-up showers and storms there in the panhandle of Florida. And then you got this nasty batch of thunderstorms in coastal Louisiana. Again, these are causing a lot of 15 to 45-minute delays at several of the regional airports from Palm Beach down to Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Fort Myers, and then again that ground stop there in central Florida. One last stop takes to Miami, where we've got 45-minute delays. And while we don't have any storms over the airport right now, these are interfering with flight paths. So you got to take that into the equation as well. So you may be a little bit past schedule from your expected takeoff time here in Miami, Felicia.
Luckily, it does look like the numbers are improving a little bit there across South Florida, so we will take that. Meanwhile, looking at this shot from the Palm Coast, you got the gusting wind, you've got the heavy rain off in the distance. And you know what? Typically, it's this time of year. We are in rainy season, so you do expect your daily afternoon thunderstorms to bubble up with the deluge of heavy rain. But the problem is for today and the next couple of days that we've got a couple different atmospheric players that are putting more storms in the forecast. So more hours of storminess than we typically expect. And the storms that get going have a ton of moisture to work with. So they're really putting down some very heavy storminess. We've got a frontal boundary that's sinking its way southeastward, really seeing messy weather there for coastal North Carolina, coastal Virginia as well, places like Wilmington dealing with rain right. And it's going to remain active across the southeast as this front continues to make its way south and east. We've got that possibility for flash flooding for coastal Virginia and North Carolina, western portions of Florida, and then the broader just risk of flash flooding really out in all of our southeastern states. As we head through the overnight, we'll still have some rain and storms ongoing for coastal South Carolina, across Florida as well. You've got that front and you've got some upper level energy combining to bring us that risk for rounds and rounds of heavy rain. And of course, we are watching the chance of development in this area to watch, as the National Hurricane Center calls it, 40% chance of development in the next 7 days. And you'll notice the development region is highlighted here by this waffle looking shape. And the best chances of development are off the southeast coast in the coming days. So regardless of whether this develops or not, we are going to have very heavy rain. The atmosphere atmosphere is stirred up, and that brings us that risk for flash flooding continuing Thursday and Friday as well. So I know that's not what we want to hear for everyone trying to enjoy the 4th of July holiday. You can see the forecast here for rainfall total. Now, this is a broad brush forecast, but where you see the yellow, that's 3 to 5 inches. Where you see the orange here across portions of South Central Florida, you've got 5 to 8 inches, but I wouldn't be surprised if some places see locally higher amounts where you get those storms to kind of line up one right after another. So you can kind of see our model moving forward here. Friday could be a bit messy. Some of us might have a hard time getting our fireworks off there on Friday because, of course, you need a certain amount of time in between the thunderstorms, in between the rain to get those fireworks off. So, yeah, if that's your plan, just keep an eye on what the forecast is for that day. And, of course, if you're somewhere specific to watch the fireworks, they will be putting out notices, what their plan is. Just remember, you don't want to set up and be outside and be out in those thunderstorms that can become deadly. So we want you to stay safe. We want you to stay safe with this risk for flooding as well. You can see here around Lake O, Belle Glade 3 to 5, 5 to 8, where you see that orange heavy rain around Fort Myers as well. Tampa, wherever you see that yellow 3 to 5 inches possible, which could cause us some issues there. And then we're going to watch as that rain adds up across South Florida as well. Where you see the yellow, maybe 3 to 5, but locally higher amounts are going to be a problem. And then you throw in the urbanization of South Florida, Miami up through Fort Lauderdale, and you really see that high chance for that urban type of flash flooding where you've got all of the water flowing into that same underpass that floods or that same area of town that floods, and that becomes an issue. Rain across North Florida adding up, maybe not as high as other portions of Florida, but it will be there for North Florida and South Georgia. So we're watching that very closely, Chris. Also watching the risk for severe weather.
Yeah, it'll be more isolated in nature, not a widespread threat, but we are going to keep our eyes out for storms in the upper Midwest and northern plains. We'll show you some of the conditions we've seen as of late. And again, today, a chance for storms. This will really be tonight into the early morning hours tomorrow. And then tomorrow, we'll have another little pocket of severe weather, perhaps from Minneapolis southward through Madison, Milwaukee, the Quad Cities, and there into Chicago. We've got a front that's pushing through. West of it, you're a little drier, but we've got increasing dew points, increasing moisture coming through. Marginal wind energy a lot, but enough to tap into some of that as storms grow in size, and that could lead to a damaging wind threat. Maybe some hail as well. Today, really not too bad out there. 70s here from the UP of Michigan into the Arrowhead of Minnesota. We've got temperatures, right about where you would expect them to be this time of the year. Upper 80s in Chicago and Minneapolis right now. Sunny skies out across the Dakotas. Fargo sitting at 86 degrees. And we've got southerly winds, and you can clearly see that flow coming up. Not as warm across Wisconsin and Michigan as we will see once we get towards 4th of July. A lot of us are going to be up into the 90s. Now, we've also got climbing dew points, and that means moisture is increasing, starting to feel a little bit more muggy outside. Those crisp, clear summer nights that we love here in the upper Midwest are going to be more of the stormy variety. And this is not unusual. In fact, unlike other areas of the country where a lot of our storms develop more so into the afternoon and evening hours, we're going to see this more into the overnight hours for parts of Wisconsin. You can also see there in North Dakota, and early morning storms here coming through parts of North Dakota as we go into late tomorrow evening, and then overnight tomorrow night, a huge batch of thunderstorms possibly getting into the boundary waters in northern Minnesota. So if you have outdoor plans, and it's a popular time of year, people spend outside canoeing, camping, spending time fishing. We've also got storms all into southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois as we get into tomorrow night and also early Friday morning. That front's going to move east. That will keep us in the threat for storms as we go through 4th of July into the 4th of July weekend, whether you're going out to the lake, spending time at the lake house, you're going to have that chance of storms. As far as 4th of July is concerned, a lot of the big celebrations, like here in the Twin Cities, also around Chicago, Des Moines, Kansas City, St. Louis, we're looking good. I don't think we'll have too much in the way of any, rain issues, preventing some of these 4th of July fireworks from setting off. But Fargo, down through Sioux Falls, and also, say, Omaha, we could have storms in the vicinity as we get towards that time of evening when those fireworks would likely go off. So we'll watch it. Storms will continue to push east as we go through Saturday and Sunday, Felicia. And some of the rain could be heavy at times. And again, that isolated chance of some severe weather.
All right, let's take a look at new video coming in now out of Baltimore from yesterday. Now, the official recording at BWI there in Baltimore for rainfall coming down was just a little over an inch. It was right at about an inch for rainfall. So kind of crazy when you know that that is the type of rainfall, and just an official reading of an inch that could cause that kind of flooding. But that's exactly what I'm talking about, where some areas of the city or wherever you are might get some heavier rainfall totals, but also that element of urban flooding where you have those low-lying parts of the city. The rain from everywhere else runs down the roads and runs down the parking lots and the sidewalks and all ends up in that same low-lying area of the city. We all know them. Almost every city has them. Those places that are very flood prone, and you know to avoid them when you're getting heavy rain. Couldn't avoid the winds over the past 24 hours. All the little bubbles that you see here are local storm reports. A lot of those coming from severe winds with the severe storms moving through. We had that front that has now moved off the coast. It still brings a little bit of cloud cover there across portions of New England, but by and large, we had much better weather than we had yesterday in Philly and around New York, portions of Washington and Baltimore there. So a little bit of rain still for coastal Virginia and southern portions of the Delmarva, but otherwise a really nice looking day today, especially for places like Binghamton. Soak it up while you have it, because another round of storms back in the forecast for your Thursday. Portions of New England, upstate New York, down through much of New Jersey, all of Long Island, cities like New York included in that risk for severe storms tomorrow. What's going to happen is that front is starting to make its way eastward, and you got some storms bubbling up with it. Again, damaging winds, a little bit of hail, all of that possible as we head through your Thursday and overnight into very early Friday before things clear out. The good news is that Friday looks spectacular. For your 4th of July festivities on Friday across the Northeast, you could not ask for better weather. Bright sun shining and pretty comfortable temperatures when you talk about summer temperatures. Chris?
All right, let's switch gears and head back down to the tropics. So where did our sunshine go? Still not stopping people from enjoying the beach, but a lot more clouds this hour than what we were seeing last hour. 86 degrees, that may take an edge off some of the heat, though. We have that onshore breeze, so a little bit more wave action here than maybe your typical summer day on the Gulf Coast of Florida. A lot of people in the water, though, and it's pretty warm, especially off the west coast of Florida. I mean, we've got water temperatures, Felicia, upper 80s, which this time of year it feels more like a bathtub.
Yeah, it's not cooling you off a whole lot. I'll take that over like the freezing cold water, but I think like closer to like a nice mid 80 or lower 80 might be a little bit more refreshing there. You can see it here. What you're looking at are our sea surface temperatures, but also the outlook that is the area to watch for development from the National Hurricane Center.
Yeah, so they've upped it slowly, so still slight chance of development as we go through the next 7 days. Nothing's going to happen until after 4th of July. So it's really going to be a late weekend, maybe early next week type of setup. And this is uncalled for. Sometimes stalled out fronts can generate tropical activity in the month of July. We look off the coast of the southeast, also into the Gulf, and then into the Caribbean. Notice a lot more pockets of red out across the central and even eastern Atlantic. That's the main development region, which really becomes more active into the peak of hurricane season.
It's July when we start to see the door opening for those storm origins across the region. So what you're looking at here is the European model, the spin or the vorticity in the atmosphere. That's what we look for when we're talking about the development of these tropical systems. And what you'll notice is it's not looking all that impressive. There's not a whole lot to show here other than the fact that it's looking still very messy.
So you can see that boundary. So we have that. You can see where the front is. You see a little bit more of a spin, but it's not really well organized or well put together. It's kind of broad. It's messy, and it's still, this is Monday now, and it doesn't look like we've had any clear-cut organized low. If we do, it's very broad and not anything strong. So this is less of a wind issue. Even if we do get maybe a tropical depression to form, it's really going to be a rain event.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I mean, in terms of something forming or not forming, it is almost sometimes worse when you just have that kind of messy pattern hanging out, because then it's not moving on quickly, and so you're getting round after round after round of rain for the southeast coast across Florida as well, and that is going to add up in the coming days.
All right, so it's not just the Atlantic we keep our eyes on here at the Weather Channel. We've also got the East Pacific, which has really been a very active start to hurricane season. Hurricane Flossie, so if you've heard Flossie, this is the hurricane that's off the coast of Mexico, thankfully moving away from land, but it still has a lot of waves that are propagating towards the coastline, and this is a powerful hurricane, Category 2.
Yeah, so we are watching that very closely. This has huge implications if you're cruising or you were cruising around this area. If you're trying to go to the beaches in Cabo or Puerto Vallarta, those wave heights are very high with this system, and those propagate outward, even indirectly impacting you if you're far away from the storm.
Yeah, you can even get some larger swells even into southern parts of California.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a check in on area airports. Florida really kind of topping the list with issues. We got lengthy delays at Palm Beach, 30-minute delays or so around Fort Lauderdale and Miami, and of course that ongoing ground stop at Orlando, all because of thunderstorms here in Central Florida. There we go. There's another live look at Interstate 4 in downtown Orlando.
No matter what kind of teeth you gotta brush, Oral-B Electric cleans better with one simple touch. Oral-B's dentist-inspired round brush head hugs them, cleans them, and gets in between them for 100% cleaner teeth. Your perfect clean starts with Oral-B.
If your cat's litter makes you do this, you need this. Pretty Litter is an odor busting, low dust, health monitoring solution to your cat's litter box. Scan the code on screen for your exclusive TV offer.
Repair my vehicle.